Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Empower Your Mind for Success podcast, a podcast for anyone who wants to build an entrepreneurial mindset. Whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are right. Those were the famous words of Henry Ford. And I believe they are very true. And we all have our own false beliefs, and we really need to know what they are if you want to make any progress, especially entrepreneurs. And these false beliefs come from our environment, from our childhood, from what we heard from our parents, our siblings, our relatives, our teachers, our friends, and we tend to believe certain things whether they are true or not. Actually, before we are about age 7 to 9, children don't have a conscious mind. They cannot differentiate between right or wrong, real or imaginary. Whether Santa Claus is real, the tooth fairies are real. They all believe in whatever they hear because they don't have a conscious mind to filter out what is correct, what is not. So everything that they hear enters their subconscious mind. And whatever enters your subconscious mind starts forming your belief system. Anything that you hear repetitively from an authority figure, you will tend to believe that more. Now, when you're a child, what is an authority figure, or who is an authority figure in your life? It is your parents, your siblings, and your teachers that you spend a lot of time during the day at school. And sometimes we don't even realize that we believe certain things about ourselves that we should or should not. I mean, let me tell you a story about myself. I always believed that I cannot fast. I always knew I cannot go without food for long. Actually, whenever I was hungry and didn't get food on time, I used to get very cranky. And I'm not talking about my early teens and 20s. I'm talking about even now in my mid 40s. And and coming from India, fasting is not just a good practice and practiced a lot in India. It is also practiced from a religious perspective, right? You fast on certain festivals, on certain occasions as a penance. Sometimes you fast to honor the God that you're praying, something like Lent here in the US within Christianity. So, and I always told everybody with a lot of pride, actually, that I didn't fast, and I've never fasted for anybody, whether it is God or anybody else. And until recently, I mean, until 3 months ago, my wife started intermittent fasting. COVID-19 times, we are all at home these days, eating whatever we can, not too much activity, not going out a lot, not going to the gym outside. My wife decided, let's start intermittent fasting. And I said, you know what, I'll do it too, because you are doing it. I'll support you. And she was surprised, but then she didn't say a word, didn't remind me of my weakness, maybe. And we went along, and it has been about 2.5 months now, and we have been intermittent fasting every day. I'm on a 16-hour, 8-hour schedule, which means I fast for 16 hours and eat only within an 8-hour window. And the great news is I've not only discovered that I can fast, I can stay hungry for long, but also that I've lost significant amount of weight. My BMI is well within the range now, and I've lost inches and I've lost weight, and my friends have noticed it, and I feel great about it, and I feel great about myself. So I could beat a false belief about myself just by having the courage of going along with something new and different, and also by being aware of my situation as to why I was saying no to fasting, or saying no to at least fasting from a health perspective. Whether you fast for religious perspective is a personal choice. I don't believe in it. But it's a personal matter, and if it helps you be healthy, then I think it's a good choice to make. So the question is, what false beliefs do you have about yourself that you need to question, that you need to shatter? And the question even before that is, do you even think you have false beliefs about yourself? Maybe you are too self-conscious about yourself. Maybe you think you are shy. Maybe you think you cannot speak on the stage. Maybe you think you cannot hold a conversation. Maybe you think you're not good at sports. Maybe you think you're not good at reading. Maybe you think you're not good at selling. Maybe you think you're not good at talking to strangers. Whatever is it in your mind, it could be that small, but it could be pretty significant, that might be creating roadblocks for you. So that is something I believe you need to think about carefully. You need to self-examine yourself. You need to be consciously aware of why you are making certain decisions. Now, this is not easy, but if you have a burning desire to get better, to achieve your financial freedom, to start a business, to grow your business, whatever it is, from an entrepreneurial perspective, that burning desire should guide you to become consciously aware and start questioning of why you make certain decisions. I was reading the book Psycho-Cybernetics by Dr. Maxwell Maltz. This book was written in 1960, and it's an amazing book about self-image and why certain people do what they do. And it's an original science of self-improvement and success, and it has changed lives of many people. Now, in this book, in one of the chapters, Dr. Maxwell Maltz talks about 6 questions that you need to ask yourself to question why you are doing certain things. Why do you believe what you believe in? And you need to be consciously aware of it first, right? And being consciously aware will come from a burning desire. But before I read out the questions, I wanted to pause here a little bit, and I wanted to remind you, if you are worried of what people think about you, if you're worried about what people think about how you look, how you come about, how you talk, about your confidence, then stop worrying about it. We as humans are very selfish. We seldom think about others. We all the time are thinking about ourselves. So if you're worried about someone thinking about you in a certain light, stop it, because that person is more worried about himself or herself. And that is true pretty much for everybody. Okay, that is how human nature is. So forget about what other people are thinking. As an entrepreneur, you should not think about that anyway. If you really want to be a successful entrepreneur, you got to stop thinking of what other people are going to say or think about you. Entrepreneurs anyway go against the grain. They anyway go against what a lot of normal people do. Entrepreneurs are not normal. Okay, we are the 1% crazy. We are the 2% crazy who believe in our dreams much more than some people believe in themselves. So let me read out the questions to you that Dr. Maltz talks about. And whenever you catch yourself about making a decision in your mind or even aloud, maybe you want to ask these questions. The first question is, why do I believe that I can't? Second, is this belief based on an actual fact or an assumption or false conclusion? Now, by the way, if you don't have a paper or pen, maybe you want to write these questions down, because these are the questions I believe you should be staring at, or you should have it on a piece of paper with you or on your phone, that you should always ask yourself. Question 3, is there any rational reason for such a belief? Question 4, could it be that I'm mistaken in this belief? 5, would I come to the same conclusion about some other person in a similar situation? 6, why should I continue to act and feel as if this were true if there is no good reason to believe it? Maybe I read those questions too fast for you while you're making notes. Maybe you want to pause this and rewind the podcast and listen to it again. But I believe these 6 questions would set you on a journey to examine yourself, to examine your decision-making process, to examine your beliefs. Because unless you understand yourself, it is very difficult to achieve your results, especially when you want to be an entrepreneur. Not challenging ourselves, not challenging our belief systems is okay in the employee world, in the corporate world, to large extent, because there's always someone to give you instructions. There's always someone to guide you or fire you if that is required. But in the entrepreneurial world, there aren't many such people, because statistically, there aren't many people who are in the top 1%, top 2% crazy to be an entrepreneur to begin with. So statistically speaking, there aren't many people to help you. These people are very precious and rare. And when you find them, you should hold on to them with dear life. So re-examine your life, re-examine your belief systems. Socrates said, no life is worth living that is not examined. Okay. So I hope this encourages you. Those 6 questions will give you a framework, or a set of questions that will allow you to question yourself logically. And whenever you make a decision, whenever some thought comes in your mind and you're, kind of battling yourself in your mind, write down why you're thinking what you're thinking. Maybe even before you can question yourself, maybe you need to write down on a piece of paper as to what thoughts are coming to your mind. And you may be surprised that most of the thoughts coming in your mind are not even yours. They are triggered by someone else saying something. They are triggered by someone's expression on their face when you said something. They're triggered by a message, a WhatsApp message, or a message on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. Maybe something that you have heard and seen on television. You will be surprised. Try that for 2 days, 3 days, maybe 7 days, and you'll be very surprised to see that a lot of thoughts in your mind are not even yours. And that is what you need to stop. I hope this helps. I hope this gives you enough reason to step back and examine yourself and your belief systems. I hope you found value in this. And if you did, please forward this, pay it forward, share this value with someone you believe would benefit by listening to this podcast. You never know whose life you might change by doing a sign of a kindness, by forwarding something that you found of value. Remember, you have unlimited potential. Own it. Until next time, take care.